329. What are some key terms the COR needs to know to successfully carry out his or her property administration duties?
The following are key terms related to the administration of government property. Property. Government property. Government-furnished property. Contractor-acquired property. Contractor's property management system. Property records. Property administrator. Plant clearance officer. Property denotes all tangible property, both real and personal, and may include equipment, material, special tooling, special test equipment, plant equipment. Government property refers to all property owned or leased by the government under the terms of a contract. It includes both government-furnished property and contractor-acquired property. Government property includes material, equipment, special tooling, special test equipment, and real property. Government property does not include intellectual property and software. Government-furnished property, GFP, is property in the possession of, or directly acquired by, the government and subsequently furnished to the contractor for performance of a contract. It includes, but is not limited to, spares and property furnished for repair, maintenance, overhaul, or modification. It also includes contractor-acquired property if the contractor-acquired property is a deliverable under a cost contract when accepted by the government for continued use under the contract. When contractors are issued GFP, the government will eliminate to the maximum practical extent any competitive advantage that might arise from using such property. Require contractors to use government property to the maximum practical extent in performing government contracts. Permit the property to be used only when authorized. Charge appropriate rentals when the property is authorized for use on other than a rent-free basis. Require contractors to review and provide justification for retaining government property not currently in use. Ensure maximum practical reutilization of contractor inventory within the government. Contractor-acquired property is property acquired, fabricated, or otherwise provided by the contractor for performing a contract and to which the government has title. A contractor's property management system is a method of recording, identifying, and marking government property, used while working under a government contract, that the government requires the contractor to establish. However, agencies will not generally require contractors to establish property management systems that are separate from a contractor's established procedures, practices, and systems used to account for and manage contractor-owned property. Agencies must allow and encourage contractors to use voluntary consensus standards and industry-leading practices and standards to manage government property in their possession. Voluntary consensus standards means common and repeated use of rules, conditions, guidelines or characteristics for products, or related processes and production methods and related management systems. Property records are the records created and maintained by the contractor in support of its stewardship responsibilities for the management of government property. At a minimum, the contractor's property management system should be reasonably accessible to authorized government personnel. Provide a complete, current, and auditable record of all transactions. Contain basic information about the GFP being used, including the name of the agency from which the property was acquired, a description of the property, the quantity of items being used, the unit price of each item, the contract number, the location of the property, the disposition or transfer of GFP. Include other information, such as records of all government-furnished materials. Special reports, including information on property being returned for rework, if applicable. A listing of GFP being used for other contracts. An explanation of how property will be safeguarded from tampering or destruction. Information on the contractor's property management system will become part of the government's official Contract Administration Office contract file. A property administrator is a government employee designated as responsible for monitoring and maintaining the GFP inventory. A plant clearance officer is an authorized representative of the CO, appointed in accordance with agency procedures, responsible for screening, redistributing, and disposing of contractor inventory from a contractor's plant or work site.